Hey, what's up, America? We're still in the second installment, but here we are at the University of Dayton Research Center. This is another college, man, that has really taken this on as far as being able to put our solar possibilities out there and what we really need to do in 2020. We just cannot sit up, man, and let our world turn to crap, and we have the ability to change it, man. We have enough money to do it. I kind of want to follow up a little bit on what I was saying at the other site and what Jennifer Lewis was saying, you know, the star on Blackish. She was saying the president and the government has to get into this solar battle. Man, there's enough black economic power for black people to take this on as one of their own. You know, almost like a football being fumbled, picked up and ran for a touchdown. Man, there's over 700 billion in the black community that we could be putting toward this and train young black youth about our possibilities, man. Our young people should be coming up thinking that they could be a solar technician, thinking that they can be a wind technician, having that hope for the future, man, instead of thinking that basketball, or talking about sports in general, or rap or entertainment are their only ways out. If they don't go to sports, entertainment, or rap, the only alternatives that they come up with is drugs and crime. Are you kidding me? It shouldn't be that way. One thing about this array down here at the University of Dayton, it's actually a tracking system that actually moves. The panels actually tilt as the sun moves across the sky. They're pointing this way right now because, of course, there's no sun out today. But on a sunny day, these panels actually track the sun from where it comes up in the east and tracks it across the sky to where the sun goes down in the west. So I have mixed emotions about this type of system. As they say, it increases your gain about 30%. As far as your solar gain, 30%. But you got to add these moving parts and add computers to make sure it tracks right and things of that nature, which in my personal opinion, it allows for more things to go wrong. If you just fix it in a south direction, the sun will hit it, go across the sky, and be able to face on those fixed panels. As I was saying, and I'll say it again, this is a tracking system that when the sun comes out in the morning, it hits the panels, and then the panels actually track across the sky till the evening sun goes down. Apparently they're in the position of the evening sun going down right now. So even though this is a very good concept, it's not my most preferred, but it still works. You get 30% more if you have the money. You can come up with a system like this, which is good. We should get to the point of where we have so much solar, we can put east to west trackers, or we could go with a single axis facing system. The possibilities are there. One bad thing about this array, and don't get me wrong, there are still solar things going on here in Ohio. Ohio has turned its back on solar. You best believe that. When I got into the business 15 years ago, there were incentives provided by the state of where we could go into places, go into residential homes, go into commercial businesses, and be able to do solar because the state actually backed it and gave up money for it. Man, John Casey, I'll bring his name up because he was the governor of Ohio at the time. John Kasich basically froze the solar program the last 4 years he was in office. Because when it came out, it was a cash cow, and people were fighting over it like cats and dogs, man. I'm talking about they fought over this thing. They wanted it all. Just like good old American capitalism, one company will come out and try to meet the state's entire needs for 5 to 10 years in the future. Man, they was at it like cats and dogs. Kasich, the utilities was fighting over it. So Kasich came in and said, hey, y'all fighting over it. I'm just going to freeze the program and nobody's going to get nothing. You know, now I have to watch John Kasich on CNN, you know, giving his personal opinion about things that's going on in the political realm and all that. John Kasich, you abandoned solar. You are the reason solar ain't went nowhere in Ohio. Don't get me wrong, solar is still here in Ohio, but unfortunately, a lot of companies go behind closed doors with the utility. They make a deal, and one company gets rich off of the solar here in Ohio, instead of having companies all over Ohio, going to different communities and cities all over Ohio, and spreading it so people can see it and learn about solar in Ohio. No, nationwide, there are companies that are going behind closed doors with the utility, making their own deals, getting that one company rich while everybody else is uneducated about solar. Man, I could talk to people all day long, ask them, hey, what do you know about solar? Nothing. Nothing. And that's true. So, yeah, one thing about this array here at Dayton, I'm glad that colleges and different entities are taking over, because our state governments don't care whether it goes or not. Actually, when John Kasich got out of office, Mike DeWine took over as governor. And when he took over as governor, the Republican state legislature here in Ohio, they came up with a bill to put solar on the back burner, solar and wind on the back burner. And Mike DeWine, man, he came in like Pete Rose on the head first slide to sign that bill and say, hey, yeah, solar and wind's on the back burner. It's on the back burner right now. So Ohio, for the next 4 years, won't do anything to promote solar or anything. The easy way out, man. They put solar and wind on the back burner, turned the burner off and left the kitchen for 4 years. That's unacceptable, people. One thing that we need to realize, as we really don't need state and federal government to take this over. We have economic power with people that have money. We have billionaires around the world that could pitch in and change the way we view energy. And don't get me wrong, the government is actually not the biggest player in this. It's utilities. That's what has suppressed the solar industry for the last 15, 20, probably 50 years, because solar's been around 50 years. The utilities got to change their line of thinking and say, hey, we'll pay for this kind of energy. Right now, natural gas, oil, all of that is so low. It's like, oh, it's cheap. It's the cheapest thing we can do. We want to do it that way. Man, it don't matter if it's cheap, man, if the world ain't here. It ain't cheap if the world's not here. I'll go back to the Australia fires for a moment. Do you realize that the smoke from the Australia fires has already went around the entire planet? The smoke from this has already went around the entire planet. And that fire's not out. So the more and more that fire burns, the more and more smoke it's going to put into the atmosphere, mess up the air quality. I don't know what to think about that. I mean, actually it probably helped global warming, Mr. Trump, because with all the smoke in the air, it's going to block the rays from coming down to the earth. It will actually block the rays and allow our planet to cool. Just like with a volcanic explosion. And we have volcanoes going off everywhere right now. Putting smoke, putting ash and all this stuff into the air, that blocks the sun from getting down and actually cools the earth. So, I mean, Trump, you probably want that, don't you? We'll just have more volcanoes erupt so we can block the sun and that'll make our earth cooler. It's not gonna work, sir. I actually want to go back to what Amy Klobuchar said last night at the Democratic debates. Even though she's a big climate change activist, like Tom Steyer, Amy Klobuchar, though, said she's up for natural gas being one of the things that takes us out of climate change. She wants to talk about natural gas. Amy, if you sit in an enclosed room and put natural gas in there, what's natural gas going to do to you? And don't walk in there with a match or a lighter. Natural gas will still choke and kill you, and it blows up. Now, I'll go into an enclosed room with a solar panel and a little windmill, and you go into an enclosed room with natural gas, and we'll see who comes out on top. One thing I've said at the beginning of this series, I do not want fame. I am not in this for fortune. I am just the one chosen to be the sacrificial lamb, because I know if this series gets out and people start talking about it, man, my life is going to be torn apart. I'm going to be treated like a dog and talked about like a dog. I don't want fame or fortune, but I do want to make a difference. I do want to make a difference in this world. I've been talking about the solar possibilities for Black Americans for over 15 years now. I haven't had one nod. Actually, the most feedback that I get after a very important meeting, I mean very productive meeting, we all talked about solar, the prospects of doing it for cities. One guy will pull me over and say, hey brother, you know black people ain't gonna do nothing. And I'm like, man, are you kidding me? Black people haven't done nothing. So, no, yeah, I'm asking for funding for this nationwide training centers I'm going to have. There's many billionaires out there who talk about climate change and want to do it, but are they putting their money where the mouth is? When that fire was in the Amazon last year, we had a big fire in the Amazon, and the headline was, "The Earth's lungs are on fire." I mean, the Earth's lungs are on fire? They asked a worldwide request for monies to help put out the fires in the Amazon. A worldwide request of all the billionaires, all the Russian oligarchs, everybody that has a lot of money. I mean, of course, sports stars. The best they could come up with was $20 million. $20 million. The Earth's lungs is on fire, and all we could come up with was $20 million. Russell Wilson, you make $35 million a year to play 16 football games. You and Sierra have kids. I mean, there's many people out there. Kylie Jenner, man, I've watched you since you was a little girl. Actually, my daughters laugh at me because I've kept up with the Kardashians for years. I hate to admit that on tape. But yeah, now Kylie Jenner, you've grown up. You're a billionaire by letting people have juicy, pouty lips and your makeup collection. I'm not hating on you. You're a billionaire. Can you give me some money for my solar training centers? You know, I mean, there's a lot of sports stars out there. I'm talking about basketball, baseball, football. There's millionaires all over this, man. Are they kicking in? I mean, I know they have kids. I know they have families, man. We're sitting here watching our world go to hell, man. It's happening. It's happening right now. We had a coast-to-coast storm last week. We're having a coast-to-coast storm this week. How many of these do we have to have for people to say, hey, man, we might have to do something about this? It's getting out of hand, people. We need to get into it. Oh, and Mr. Trump, my TDS. I was reading an article on Politico that said, he's our OJ. Man, are you kidding me, man? He's our OJ? So people are coming up with the excuse that, oh, well, you know, OJ was guilty and we let him off. Trump is guilty and we're letting him off too? No, you're not getting off, Trump. Your impeachment hearing will start next week. Even though you got your cronies in your corner and all that, brother, some dialogue's got to come out of that. We've got to have some dialogue that comes out, even if you're not put out of office, man. It's bad enough that everybody predicts the next election will be close, man. Are you kidding me? All the division, all the racism you done stirred up, all the things that, man, you laugh at little kids, man. You laugh at women. You laugh at Gold Star families, man. You make a mockery of the wind industry and solar. Can you please come to your senses, man, and get out of the way, man, so somebody can do something about this problem, man? I mean, you're killing me, brother. So yes, Dr. said we're just on a cloudy day today. I did want to go to another site. I don't know if we're going to do that today. But yeah, I guess I will wrap up this segment of the Angry Black Man series. I am the Angry Black Man. I have TDS as well. And I'm promoting this right here. Saying black people can put these little wire connectors together. We can form a string and we can form an entire array. I want your comments, good and bad, because I want to be able to expound on whatever differences, the negatives that you have, the positives you have. So yes, please, get with me. Come back at me. Peace out.